We've heard of romanticizing, but what about catastrophizing? When we obsess over a possible outcome or automatically jump to the worst case scenario, we are catastrophizing. Often, those of us who struggle with anxiety or depression will be more prone to catastrophic thinking. But some of us are habitual worriers, whose anxieties or worries get progressively worse and more consuming over time. We often overestimate the likelihood of something bad happening. We become absorbed by our negative expectation and have a narrow perspective of the possible outcomes of an event. Usually when the outcome occurs, it's nowhere near as bad as we projected it would be. Obsessing over an issue won't help you come to a solution. The way to find a healthy solution to a problem is through open-minded reflection, shifting perspective, and proactive decision making. Therefore, the time that we spend worrying is actually useless and does far more harm than good. Hi, I'm Tash from The Loving Lifestyle, a channel dedicated to helping you live your best life. Today, we're going to try to get you to stop worrying so much. Chronic worrying is stealing so much joy from our lives. So, in order to live our best lives, we need to break the worry habit and find a more healthy way of processing our stresses. My first tip to help you stop worrying so much is to get it out. Make a list of the current circumstances that are causing you to catastrophize. I like to do this in mind map or spider diagram format. Then from each of those events, branch out into what's caused this event, what long-term impacts they may have, what immediate impacts come from this event. Then from these impacts, branch out again into what you could gain from the situation. If you change your perspective a little bit, if you looked at the situation from a different angle, or what opportunities could come out of the event, what lessons you could learn from going through it. Look at the likelihood of the event actually happening, why we have jumped to that worst case conclusion, and what other wider focused conclusions we could come to. Do we really believe it's going to play out in this catastrophized way? Sometimes it can feel scary to put our worries on paper, especially if they are big life-altering things. But by writing it down and making it feel more concrete in your mind, we are actually better able to deal with the worry and usually dispel the worry ourselves when we look at it on paper and think, you know what, I can't control that, so I'm not going to let it control me. It can also help to assign a particular period of time to this worry journaling. If you need to, jot down the things that are worrying you when they happen, but otherwise just let them go and save them till later, where you can have a set worry period. Use this worry period to journal, brainstorm, and make smart decisions on these issues. You are much more likely to make good decisions with a clear mind. So by having a set time to do this in, you can prepare yourself in advance for this worry session so that you're in the best state to make these decisions. A bonus of writing down your worries is that sometimes things can feel catastrophic in our heads, but when you put them to pen and paper, you have a fresh realization that perhaps what's making you worry is actually very fixable or maybe a little silly. I guess it feeds into the a problem shared is a problem halved philosophy, except you're sharing it with your notebook rather than the person. The benefit of having a set worry period is that you can contain your catastrophizing to a smaller period of time. In reality, our ability to worry is endless. We could constantly obsess over one thought, or we could search for more and more things to worry about. By limiting ourselves to just one period of time, we actually gain back a lot of time wasted fixating on something and give ourselves a calm, effective space to work on those stresses. Rather than obsessing, you're looking for solutions to the issues or shifts in mindset that could help you become a little less neurotic over time. We have the ability to worry forever. So by implementing these tactics, you can train yourself to contain your worries and detach yourself from these stresses over time. Another way to work on not catastrophizing your life is to work on you. What is actually causing your anxiety? Is it the event, or is it actually your beliefs? In other words, is the stressor the outcome itself, or is it the fact that if it doesn't go perfect, you'll feel like a failure, or that you're worried what others will think of you? Or maybe you have a bad self-image and you feel like anything you succeed at is just luck, but things that you fail at a reflection of who you are? Or do you feel responsible for things that are outside of your control? Working on your self-awareness and building a positive image of yourself can help you become less prone to catastrophizing. When you like who you are, it's harder to hold beliefs that one problem means you're a failure, or care about what other people will think of your decisions, or blame yourself for events that you can't control. When you mind map your worries, why not add another layer where you reflect on what you could work on with yourself, so that similar events won't cause so much anxiety and negative self-talk in the future? Perhaps you need to work on expressing gratitude so that any negative outcomes don't feel so catastrophic. Or maybe you need to practice positive self-talk to boost your self-image so that other people's opinions can no longer influence your decision making. So much of our unhappiness in life stems from low self-esteem. Work on learning to love yourself, and I bet a lot of your worries will melt away. Another reason you could be prone to catastrophizing is that chronic worrying is a habit, but luckily habits can be broken. We are not our thoughts. Thoughts come and go constantly, and more often than not, if you weren't worrying about this particular event, another one would happily take its place. Thoughts and worries are temporary. They don't define us. Sometimes we obsess over something that's out of our control because perhaps we are feeling a little mentally fragile at that time. Maybe looking after ourselves has taken a back seat for a little while. Or maybe we haven't addressed or worked through any adversity we may be facing or have faced, so we're not as mentally strong as we could be. Then something pops into our minds and we fester on it and focus all of our mental energy on it because it's seeped through the cracks in our mind that have developed as we've ignored looking after our mental health. Try to work on replacing your worry habit with a more positive habit. For example, whenever you find yourself catastrophizing, correct yourself by saying a positive affirmation about yourself, your ability, or the likelihood of the catastrophic outcome. If you find yourself obsessing over the outcome of an exam result coming out next week, instead of obsessing over something that you can no longer control, stop yourself by saying, I am capable, I can handle it. Or if you are the one causing your worries, by questioning your ability to make something happen, say to yourself, I can, I choose, I will. If you are worrying about something life-altering and out of your control, reassure yourself by saying, it will be okay, I have faith. Over time, these positive affirmations will become second nature to you, and you'll find yourself using them daily to take control of your life and your mind. One final thing we should discuss here is whether or not you're actually stressing about this event or whether you're just bored. Your mind needs stimulation, and if you've gotten out of the habit of learning, socializing, exercising, then there's a chance that your mind just needs something to do and it's spiraling into obsessive worrying. We don't want to distract ourselves from our issues, but we do need to live engaging, stimulating lives. If you found yourself worrying more than usual lately, take it as a sign that you may need to pick up a new hobby, try a new form of exercise, or call a friend. These activities will also help you manage stress. So if your worrying is legit, doing something you enjoy, moving your body, and talking to someone will help you cope with it too. Habitual worrying is like an addiction. You need to take steps to reduce your reliance on worrying and replace the bad habit with healthy new ones. Find new activities that can stimulate you, entertain you, and bring you joy. So why is worrying so bad? Well, expecting the worst gets you the worst. When you constantly obsess over all the awful things that could happen, you align yourself with that outcome, and your actions will inevitably reflect that belief. You become unmotivated by the future and all the good things that could happen. Why try if I'm just gonna fail? Why bother when nothing ever goes my way? When you reject yourself first, it hurts less when others do. So you build a barrier between yourself and your dreams. But the harsh reality is, no matter how much you think about the worst case scenario, it will never prepare you for it. In fact, no one knows what they are capable of overcoming until they are put into that situation. So worrying is a completely useless activity that causes you far more stress than it's worth. You will always be blindsided by the bad stuff, even if you've obsessed over its likelihood for weeks. So save yourself the added stress and trust that if the time comes, you are capable of stepping up and overcoming anything that life throws at you. You just don't realize it yet. Embracing uncertainty is one of the most freeing mindsets that you can develop. There's a quote by the author Sean Acor which resonates strongly with this message. Adversities, no matter what they are, simply don't hit us as hard as we think they will. Our fear of the consequences is always worse than the consequences themselves. So remember, you are stronger than you think. You are capable of overcoming adversity, and you are in control of your reaction to everything life throws at you. Don't let the future eat up your present. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it useful, and if you enjoyed this video, you will most likely enjoy my video on how to process failure and criticism, or my video on taking control of your own life. Before you go, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the little bell below so you never miss my content. Big love to you all, and I'll see you next week or over on my Instagram at The Loving Lifestyle blog.